Hello and welcome back to POMODEV, the series where I use half an hour of my time to go forward in my development journey. And this should be the first episode, or the official first episode of the series. So if you didn't watch episode 0, it wasn't really that special really. It's basically me rambling about what I want to do for the channel. And what I've noticed is that video is really heavy to follow. Fortunately, I don't have the best speaking ability. It's something that I hope to improve in this series of videos. But, at least I've broken the ice. So, in these episodes here, I need to actually plan out what I want to do for the game. So, let me just open my old reliable notepad, and this is going to be the game document. I know Notepad is not that, sophisticated as a software, but it will be doing the job. I always use it for notes and so on, so when I will feel that it is not enough, I will find another program, but at the moment I think it is enough. Let me see, let me brainstorm a bit. So let's actually have an ideas document. Ideas for the sequel of Floaty Ship. Now, of course, the title could be just Floaty Ship 2, but it's something that I should not worry about at the moment. The first game was a simple Flappy Bird clone. So let me just write it down. Analysis of the first game. Flappy Bird clone made in Pico 8. What it was about, so avoiding obstacles, getting as much forward as possible, and high score, let's say. So this is basically what was the game that I made before. What I need to do is at least to replicate the first game, and then when I replicate the first game in Godot, I can start thinking about expanding the work. So first things to do is to recreate the game in Godot. So I will need to do the player, the ship. I will need to do the obstacles. I will need to do the control system. I will need to do the score system. I will need to do the obstacles and obstacle generation, and I will need to do the main title. I will need to do the game over title, the game over scene, let's say. And so all of these things may be also be divided in player sprite, player making the ship jump. Gravity influence. So basically I'm trying to recreate Flappy Bird from the start. So let's actually make a to-do list. First point is going to be make a Godot project. Maybe sounds silly, but it's actually the first thing I need to do. Then I need to, as a simple task, make the player appear on screen, and then make the player fall because of gravity, and then make the create the jump mechanic to use with a bot. Okay, this will be our first steps. So let me just open the Godot engine and let's start actually making something. So it's not the first time I opened the Godot engine. I explored it a bit. I watched tutorials. I watched tutorials of Brakis about also the Godot, the GDScript and the node system, and also I think the sample game tutorial. But of course I basically forgot everything. So I will need to do some test about what I need to do. Let's save this project inside the projects folder that I've just made, and let's call it floaty ship 2. I've heard about some problems that may arise if I try to export it for the web, but at the moment the only thing I care is to have a prototype, a completed, let's say, a working game. So about renderer and version control is something that at the moment I don't care very much. The only thing I hope is that the game works. And here we are. So I will go into 2D because I want to make the game in 2D, and I really need to think about what is going to be the size of the game, because if I go to my first game, let me actually, okay, my first game was done in Pico 8, which is at 128 pixel wide by 128 pixel height tall, and so the sprites are very little and the color palette is minimal. I kinda want to keep the squarish aspect ratio, even though a widescreen ratio could help with looking forward the obstacles. But I don't know, I really think that if I wanted to make this game for mobile, I want to use the portrait mode, and if I wanted to make this game playable on desktop, I don't want to switch around the resolution so much. So I think I will still go for a squarish look for the game, and I will need it to set up it somehow. So maybe I should keep the documentation by my hand. Okay, so here we have the documentation. Now I think the first thing I need to do is to set up the resolution of the game in order to not have any problems in the future. So let's just see how I can do it. let's say resolution, maybe without the emoji. Resolution scaling, creating movies, 3D anti-aliasing. I think why use resolution scaling? I don't know if it is something. No, this is for 3D. No, I don't want 3D. I want 2D. Let's see here. So, introduction. Before you start, about Godot Engine, organization of documentation, about information about the engine, getting started, all the necessary information on using the engine to make games. Okay. The manual can be read and referenced as needed. So the manual is the core of all the knowledge about the tool, but getting started, you first do the game step by step. Okay, I kinda have a grasp of nodes and scenes already. The whole scenes are collection of nodes and are reusable in other scenes as well. So that stuff I have that covered. Scripting language. Maybe we will still go through these during the POMODEV maybe. Let's see. Our first 2D game. This step you create a first complete 2D game with Godot. Okay, this is a very simple game, but it doesn't do what I want to do. Context, setting up the project. Let's see. Okay, project settings, display. I can set up the viewport, which should be the size of the game. So I don't know if I should properly keep the 128 resolution. I could also opt for 360 by 360, because 360 should be, it's exactly, I think 180. Yeah, it should be scalable enough to both support 180 and 720p. And also I don't know if it also covers, no, it doesn't cover that. Still, I can just, no, I can just make the screen 140. Yeah, I can just make it that, I think. So let's start by doing as the guide says and go to project settings and make the viewport width 360 by 360. Should be resizable. Okay. So I will do that. And then stretch options, mode to canvas items, and aspect to keep. I did read something about the stretch mode, so I surely wanted to keep the aspect ratio, so that is okay. I will probably keep the scale mode to integer. The screen size will always be the integer multiple of the base viewport size, because I'm mainly going to do pixel art probably, because I'm just used to that. On handheld, I want this to be portrait. Let me just see if I can get something about the rendering. No. Viewport. Canvas layers. Stretch. Multiple resolution. Okay, multiple resolution. This should have something, I think. 142. Resize. Stretch mode. Maybe if I can hover like this. Defines as the base size is stretched. Disable, no stretching. Canvas item. The base size specified in width and height is stretched to cover the whole screen. This means that everything is rendered directly at the target resolution. 3D is unaffected, while in 2D there is no longer a one-to-one correspondence between sprite pixels and screen pixels. So I should be using viewport, really. Let's see. Demonstrate the effect modes. Stretch mode disable. No stretching happen. Stretch mode enable. And stretch mode viewport. Okay, I think I want to get to the stretch mode viewport for this. Okay. And also I've read something about... What was it? Rendering textures? I don't know. I will get it through when I will reach it. The most important thing is that I have the main size now, so that I can work with it. Alright. So everything should be inside a main node, I think. It's appropriate to have it. So let me just get a simple node and call it main. And let me save it as a scene. So I also read that best practices should have inside the project a folder called scenes, a folder called, let's say, scripts, just to divide all the material, and a folder called assets for everything that is not the other two. So let's just save our main inside the scenes. Okay. Now, what from here? So let me just put the icon inside the assets. I don't know if I will need it later. Okay, the first thing I need to do is to make a character. So basically I will need to do a sprite for the player and show it on the screen. So he said that we have 360 by 360. So a sprite, can I divide like in a grid? Let's see. Godot view grid. Maybe I'm complicating things. I don't actually know if pixel art was the best idea for this. Let me just check how much time I have. 5 minutes. Very good. 5 minutes left. I basically didn't do anything in this time, if not taking some decisions. So Let me just use our sample icon and see what I can do with it. So for what I know that Node 2D is where I need to go for... Wait. Node 2D is what I need to go for 2D games. But... let's see, there are very much nodes for this. So I just want to show a sprite. Let's create a sprite. And let's this sprite be the icon.svg. That's a huge sprite. Let's see, how can I scale it and know how much does it? Okay, I can scale it like this, but I need to actually... Okay, transform. Let's see, scale by 1 is like that. I will need to region, animation, offset. This is the texture. Can I choose how much big I want this texture here? Edit dependencies. Okay. No, I don't need dependencies. Copy path, rename, duplicate, move, duplicate, add to favorites. Okay, how can I resize it precisely to one size? Can I just like put, I don't know, 64 pixel here? Whoa. No, this is not the right thing. Okay. No, I cannot do that. So let me just see what does this documentation says about sprites. 2D, no. Sprite 2D. Sprite 2D. Inherits, another can display the 2D texture. The texture display can be a region from another class. Okay, no. Properties, H-frames, region. Okay, it's for textures, but I want it to be a certain size. Godot sprite 2D, get to certain size. Man, I really I really think how much fun must be for other people to see this, and I'm trying to sing it ironically because it could be very boring what I'm doing. Get sprite dimensions. Sprite texture get width, sprite texture the height. As far as I know, you can't resize sprites quickly. Why not? Instead, you need to rescale it. If an image has width of 700 pixels, you want to scale. But how much is an SVG big? Okay, I think that I shouldn't use the icon SVG. Just forget about it. I'm sorry, but it's just giving me headaches. Instead, I'm going to open MS Paint and let's just change the image properties and put it 360 by 360. So this is going to be my screen. Now, since we are in space, I want it to be black. And let's just see how much a pixel is big. Alright, I think maybe 360 by 360 for pixel art is a little bit big for a new project. I may want to consider rescaling it. Maybe I should just use the Pico 8 size. You know, just to keep the familiarity also with the other stuff. Okay, so that sound that you heard was the sound of my time that is over. So what did I learn in this episode here? Surely I learned that even doing something as easy as showing an image takes really, really long time. And the documentation of Godot, it's kind of hard to navigate. I don't know if I'm supposed to get from start to finish here, but maybe it's the documentation for people that are already familiar with game development in general. I don't know. Well, I'm glad to have done very much in this episode. I hope actually to get to something substantial in the next one. But this is the POMODEV experience. It's not really a show. It's much like a diary, a public diary of what I'm actually doing in development. So I think it's going to be okay. And if not, at least I have some recording to refer so that I won't make the same mistakes again. For anyone who have reached the end, I hope that you have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, and maybe to see you on the next episode. Take care.